The flights selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags are from the 321st Training Squadron, Flight 073 and 074, led by Staff Sergeant Kenneth Dancer, hometown Toms River, New Jersey, and Staff Sergeant Anthony Valentin, hometown Brooklyn, New York. The B Squadron Commander is Technical Sergeant Noah Bliss, Military Training Instructor, 322nd Training Squadron, hometown St. Mary's, Ohio. Flight 076 from the 326th Training Squadron, led by Technical Sergeant Sean Reed, hometown North Charleston, South Carolina. Flight 077 from the 322nd Training Squadron, led by Staff Sergeant Kyle Billiot, hometown St. Petersburg, Florida.
I know she can't, but I'm going to wait.
Flight 078 from the 322nd Training Squadron, led by Senior Airman Daniel McMillan, hometown Duncanville, Texas. We would like to take a moment to congratulate all of our Squadron Honor graduates, as well as their families. Basic Military Training Honor graduates distinguish themselves by being ranked in the top 10% of all airmen graduating in their class. The exceptional personal dedication, integrity, service before self, and sustained excellence these airmen displayed throughout basic military training earned them this outstanding distinction. As the airmen march forward for the oath of enlistment, we would like to thank the families and friends who are here in support of the airmen graduating today. Your words of encouragement help motivate these airmen through 8 weeks of basic military training. Lieutenant General Finley will now come forward and address our graduated airmen.
Long ways, okay. Wow. That was very, very impressive, and let me tell you, it is an honor and a privilege as an Air Force officer for 34 plus years to be here today and to see almost 700 strong enter this great Air Force that we have in the United States of America. Let's give them all one more round of applause, as they're going to get many, many more. Yeah, go ahead, stand up. They deserve it. Keep it coming, that's okay. Okay, there's a couple other groups that we need to applaud. You can go ahead and sit down because one of them's you. The family and friends in the audience today, let me add my personal congratulations and thanks to you for what you've done to support through 18, 20, maybe 20 plus years, these great young men and women that stand in front of me today. So give yourself a round of applause as well for all that you've done. I know you are rightfully proud of these folks standing in front of me over here, but we're rightfully proud of you as well for what you've done to get them to this point in time. And we're going to need, and they're going to need your support as they go forward into this great Air Force that we all belong to. And then one other group. See all these guys over here with these funny hats on? They've been nurturing and taking care of these folks for a few weeks here. So let's give them a big round of applause as well. Now I'm prone to tell a few stories, so I'd like to just real quick, and I know you guys are standing at attention, and that's not easy, so I won't prolong it too much. But 60 years ago today, my father stood in this very position. I talked to him last night, and I said, "What do you remember about basic training?" Because he was here in October 1950, and there's a couple things that he told me. He said, number one, there were so many recruits there because it was a time of war, as it is today, that he was only here at Lackland for a week. And I said, well, what happened in that week? And he said, a lot of guys yelled at me. But then, because we had so many recruits at that particular time, he was actually moved up to Shepherd Air Force Base here in the great state of Texas to finish his training there. But there's another thing that came to mind that I have to relate to you. Now, I've been doing this for 34 plus years, and I've loved every minute of it, and I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat today. But when I got commissioned, my dad, who served for 23 years and a retired senior master sergeant, pinned those lieutenant bars on my shoulders on the 15th of May, 1976. Now, I was a 21-year-old, like many of you, and when you're 21 years old, you got the world by the tail. And far too often, I think, the things that our parents say to us, and I was guilty as charged on this one as well, go one ear and go out the other. But I remember something my father told me on that particular day, Senior Master Sergeant retired, Findlay. He said, son, I don't know what you're going to do in the United States Air Force. I don't know what your ambition is, where you're going to go. But let me tell you one thing. The heart, blood, and the backbone of the United States Air Force is our enlisted corps. And I'm here to tell you, all you great young men and women standing in front of me, that you have joined the backbone of the United States Air Force today as we swear you in. And it is renowned throughout this world. Let me tell you, that one thing he told me 34 years ago, I've never forgot, and it's been true to this day and will be true for all your time in this great Air Force as well. So take that forward, take that charge, and continue to do the great things that those before you have done as well. And then one final thing. Much like when my dad came in, we were at war in Korea. Today we stand at war around the globe as well. Fighting folks that don't understand all that that Stars and Stripes means and really don't like it. And you've been called to do that as he was called back in those times. Today the number is 3,405. It's been 3,405 days since September 11th, 2001, when our nation was shook and attacked on our very own soil. I've been involved in many of the operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I tell you, most of us would like it to be over tomorrow, 3,406, or 100 days from now, or 300 days from now. I'm afraid it won't be. In fact, it may indeed have to go for another 3,405 days. But if it does, I'll tell you one thing I know. And I know by just looking in your face right here. Our Air Force is great and magnificent today. But with the great young men and women like you that are coming into our ranks, creative, innovative, highly motivated, our Air Force will be even better in your hands with your leadership and your contributions than it is today. So thank you for all you've done in the past few weeks to get where you are today. But more importantly than that, thank you for what you're going to do for our great Air Force in the days to come. Now, are you ready to join the ranks of the world's greatest airmen? All right. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Lieutenant General Finley will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Now raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. And the orders of the officers appointed over me. According to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Finley. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as our newest airmen recite the Airman's Creed and remain in place for the departure of our reviewing official. I am an American airman.
I am a warrior. I am answering my nation's call. I am an American airman. My mission is to fly a flag command. I am faithful to a proud heritage, a tradition of honor, and a legacy of valor. I am an American airman, fighting freedom and justice. My nation's sword and shield, its century of vengeance.
Thank you. Please be seated. As a reminder, as viewed from the bleachers from your left to your right, the first two flights to pass and review today are from the 331st Training Squadron, Flights 067 and 068. The next two flights are Flights 069 and 070 from the 323rd Training Squadron. They are followed by Flights 071 and 072 from the 320th Training Squadron. The next two flights are 075 and 076 from the 326th Training Squadron. The next two flights are from the 322nd Training Squadron, Flight 077 and 078. The last two flights are from the 324th Training Squadron, Flights 079 and 080. Airmen in the State Flag Mass, Flight 073 and 074 from the 321st Training Squadron will be released to their visitors at the equipment locker to your left after they secure the flags. Please be careful while exiting the bleachers and while moving on to the grassy areas.